as creatives, we can never forget that this is a technical document. It's used not just by actors and directors, but it's used by all of the departments of a production. The production team, producers, UPMs, location scouts, gaffers, lighting directors, cinematographers, wardrobe, music, composers, editors. Every department relies on this document for contributing their part of the production. The screenplay is also a work of art. It's meant to say something, to bring people together, to entertain, to enlighten, to elicit conversation. It's meant to build bridges and bring people together. And if we're lucky, it becomes a cultural touchstone, part of pop culture. So it's really working on two different levels, a successful screenplay. It's a technical document and it's a creative document. You're like, yeah, duh, of course, I know that. It's also a lot like writing music. It is closest in its creative DNA to music. And a lot of novelists, a lot of people that come from novels, journalism, from writing backgrounds, sometimes don't appreciate this. People that come from music can wrap their heads around a screenplay a lot easier, I think. And the reason that is because everything in the screenplay is a timed document. Like music, it's really the only other written form that's timed. Everything is broken down on the page into beats, measure. You talk about scripts and the story in terms of pacing and timing and tempo. And all decisions, a lot of the technical decisions on the screenplay are built around the timing of the screenplay. And this is really, really crucial. And the script will work out, generally it works out on average to a page a minute. 1 page of screenplay equals a minute of screen time. And if you start looking at different genres, you'll start seeing a trend. Most comedies and romantic comedies, they're about 90 pages long, 90 minutes, an hour and a half. Right now, the rule of thumb for a feature-length screenplay is 90 to 120 pages. That's an hour and a half to 2 hours of screen time. Are there screenplays that are a lot longer? Are there movies that are a lot longer? Yes, there are. But for someone breaking into the industry, really keeping it under 120 pages, under 2 hours is really crucial. That's for feature films. Now, if we get into talking about broadcast television and streamers, it's a very different story. If you've got a half-hour broadcast piece that's 22 pages that allows for commercial breaks. If it's an hour broadcast, you've got about 52 pages, which allows, again, for commercial breaks. The rules aren't so stringent for streamers. They want generally, if it's going to be an hour-ish drama, it doesn't have to be an hour. And if you look at timings of episodes, they range anywhere from 45, 50 minutes to well over an hour. So depending on the medium that you're working in, it will really impact the kind of story that you are going to tell and the time that you have to tell it. The third thing that a screenplay is, it has to tell a good story. None of this means anything unless it tells a good story. There's an old Hollywood saying that you make a movie 3 times. When you write it, when you shoot it, and when you edit it. And there's really a lot of truth to that. The entire process, from when you first sit down and write fade in, to when the editor puts it in the can and sends it off when the picture's locked and everything is done, out of that process, the majority of the time spent to develop and make a motion picture is in the first section, in the writing section. If we were to write a timeline, if this is the audience and this is conception of the idea, this is the development and writing stage that goes into any picture. This is production, this is editorial. So story is crucial. If you don't have a good story, you're going to have a hard time getting it produced. Harold Ramis, famous director that did Groundhog Day, was once asked out in Chicago. It's like, what does it take to make a really good screenplay or to sell a screenplay? And he had just in one sentence, he goes, write a good story. And there's some truth to that, but it's also a little bit harder than that too. 90% of the screenplays that are written don't even get read by Hollywood because the formatting is wrong. So you can have the best story in the world, but unless the formatting is correct, you're not going to you won't get past the initial gatekeeper. Every screenplay has to have the correct formatting. When you look at it from the technical standpoint, that this is an investment vehicle that millions of dollars is going to be poured into, everything has to be picture perfect. Like a blueprint, like an architect's blueprint, the formatting of a screenplay, it has to follow industry standards, and if it doesn't, it'll be rejected. And I've heard a lot of writers say, my story is so brilliant, I don't need to follow formatting. I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna be a trendsetter. This story is it'll sell itself. It'll work itself. No, it doesn't work that way. You're delusional if you think that. The screenplay has to be formatted correctly.